38 weeks to Madiera. Welcome back to my weekly video diary. This is an advanced update for week 38 from the Lee Valley Indoor Leisure Centre and Athletics track after my first race back in 3 years, exactly 3 years to the weekend, running here and the 200 metres. So how did it go? I ran 25.3 seconds, so that's 0.3 of a second within the indoor British Masters Athletics merit standard for the 35 category. So I'm halfway to meeting my goal to run that, and injury free. So I'm slightly conflicted because it is really the slowest I've ever run indoors, but at the same time I've got back out here, we're back in the game, rehab is half over. If I can just run 6:9 tomorrow or faster, then that'll be me officially finished the lengthy rehabilitation period. So yeah, obviously very happy just to be back and to feel like I really can give it everything without spraying anything. That was just like a really good feeling. And I was right in the middle of the pack. There was lots of heats that people were running slower. It wasn't a negative experience like before. There was definitely some aspects of it that were just they could easily be pulled up. Like my start was really quite hesitant and non-explosive. So there's a wee bit of a positive there. It wasn't like I felt like I put absolutely everything together perfectly and I was still coming up short. I was in lane 3 as a guy just ahead of me and I was chasing him down the whole way and we both dipped for the line and there's just a real sense of competitiveness there. So yeah, I was a wee bit late here, only got here an hour before. I was a bit chasing my tail with the warm-up and stuff, but that's something I'm going to modify for tomorrow. But I got a good enough warm-up and then I started leading off with my right foot because my left instep, my left metatarsals were feeling a wee bit hard done by, no doubt due to the high jumping that I've been doing on Thursday. I forgot that I've been putting a lot of shearing forces through them. So yeah, I think I've navigated this quite well. I'll post another update tomorrow. I was listening to the soundtrack for How to Train Your Dragon, the famous animated movie that was Oscar nominated soundtrack, because that really taps me back into times that I was really fit in the past. So you can't really do a comfort watch while you're out here, but you can do a comfort listen, and that definitely was. It's a very energising soundtrack. So I've half finished that and I'm going to plug that straight back in tomorrow, just continue exactly where I left off. And I just had a real sense as I was waiting on the start line that I was running against my younger self. So I didn't quite beat my university self, but just when I was, I think I was 20, just going out in the indoor track for the first time in the now demolished indoor track in Glasgow, and yeah, just that kind of reconciliation and synergy with me as I've been over the years, and now in this new season. So yeah, overall quite positive. I did actually want to run the outdoor standard, which is 24.9, which I was 0.4 off indoors today, because that would have been another kind of level up, and I think that would have been me being back in the mix there. So I might still run that indoors. I'm probably doing another 200 indoors just to see if I can bring this time down a bit. But I also need to be consistent. If I set myself a target and I've met it, if I set myself a target and I didn't meet it, it would be a bit sneaky to then say, oh well, actually I'm just going to lower that target so I can say I did. And now if I set myself a target and I did meet it, then I shouldn't in the same way say, oh, actually no, I would have rather done something better and I've now not met my target. In that case, I'd have to be honest that wasn't really my target in the first place. So that's us today. Catch you tomorrow. Welcome back to week 38. So we're outside the Lee Valley Athletics Centre 24 hours after the last segment. after two 60-metre runs. So we're aiming for 7.8 seconds, and either of those to meet the Masters merit standard. And unfortunately, we just came short at 7.84 on both occasions, so the exact same time. This is not the first time that that's happened. So yeah, a bit frustrating. Overall quite positive because we weren't too far off, but definitely frustrating. I really hope this would be a one and done. That's quite, it's several tenths of a second off of my personal best, down at the 7.4 mark. So not really back to the drawing board, just back to the training board. I didn't get a great start on either of them. I mentioned that yesterday with the two. So I think there's time to kind of top up my sprint training over the next week and a half. There is another meet I can still make on the 29th. So yeah, it'd be nice to put up my feet and start deloading and getting into some more heavy training again. But I think it's really important to be consistent with these standards, like I was saying with the 200s, to not be saying, oh, I wish I'd got even better. And again, similarly with this, to not say, all right, well, I kind of got closer thereabouts. I really want to be under that standard. So there's just no question. So great to get back on the 60 track, great to be racing in and amongst people. The first heat I was a bit slower than everyone else. The second one I was right up at the front. So yeah, just a lot of the ins and outs and the twos and fro's of the race. Very much reconciled with the past experience that was here, and I feel like rehab is almost over. I did get a bit of a twinge in my hamstring. I was doing some kind of forced hyperextensions where kind of moving claw series on the track, and I think I didn't really progress into it, and I was still a bit stiff from yesterday and hadn't done a lot of warm-up before that, so I got a bit of a twinge just in my inside hamstring on the right hand side, essentially, where I'm getting this repetitive strain injury from holding my leg in the car. So that is something I'm definitely gonna have to take to physiotherapy, and I just managed to nurse it through. At one point I was like, should I even run this? But it was it was a muscle that I wasn't going to be using too much in the early parts of the race. So a bit of a warning sign. We're still potentially on track to meet our goal of being injury free, but we just need to be really careful. A couple of really nice wee things, just as I was so it was really nice to get the two races so that you had two goes while you were nice and warm and stuff, and you're not too gassed by the first one. One of the guys that sat down next to me says, like, here, don't I know you? And I was like, maybe. And I actually did know him. He'd been training when I was working in London, and he was one of the trainers down at the Linford Christie Stadium, and he remembered me and actually did remember him when he explained who he was. And it was just nice to have somebody that remembered me from before. Just such an anonymous place, London, and these big meetings when there's just like heat after heat after heat, and there's just hundreds of people, it could really just feel like you're lost in a crowd. So that was really nice. And at the end, some guys asked me to take a photograph, and they were actually from Scotland. One of them was from Paisley. So yeah, Lamar was sharing about how he's approaching Masters, and he's kind of gearing up for that now. So that was kind of positive. The other guy was talking about how he'd PB'd after only training for 2 months, which I was a bit annoyed about hearing that. But I did push him on to tell him what the time was. But that did happen to me a few years ago when I came back after a car accident. I came back and run faster than ever. So he's obviously just got that better foundation of fitness. So yeah, let's get back on the road. Rehab tonight. Had a bit of caffeine today, so we'll just have to see how I get to sleep. And yeah, onwards upwards. There's still some questions about sprint versus decathlon. I think some of it is I'm just heavy. I'm just a heavy athlete. I noticed that everyone else was not looking quite so heavy. So, and some of that's I'm just in a kind of muscle building phase, and I'm going to lighten up over the summer in many ways. So we'll touch back later in the week, and for now we're just pressing on. There's no need to there's no need to be disillusioned, and there's no need to backtrack from this journey at this point. 37 and a half weeks to Madiera, so I'm just catching up on the bleachers here at the sports park after another top-up sprint preparation session. So it's currently Tuesday the 29th, the day before Tuesday the 28th, day before the 29th, which is my second 60 metres competition, and that's going to be again down in London, so I'm driving down the street after work. I was really busy all last week and didn't manage to do another wee segment and upload. So what happened last week, I turned up and done another proper short sprint training session, and I had a really relaxing weekend. I had a spa day. I've not done much else since Saturday, since Friday even. So really, so negatives and positives, really challenging getting out tonight. I actually had quite a busy Saturday and Sunday, and then on Sunday night I stayed up to watch my American football team, and that really set things off. So I've only got myself to blame for that. It was a calculated risk, and I thought I could recover quite quickly, and I haven't been able to. So that's something I need to really be aware of going forward. And it was really difficult to get out tonight to training. I'm in that situation where I'm not really tired enough to get proper sleep, but I'm not really energetic enough to do much at all. It's been raining, it's cold, just feeling a bit out of shape, and turned up tonight, and just a couple of really positive things. Had a really nice session. This is the first time I've actually been out training by myself with the sprints, and that option's always there. I've not done it, and it's definitely not a good idea to do when you're just starting back. You just need that support, you just need a programme to follow. But it has actually been nice just getting out here, and actually I found I was much more fast and explosive and feeling just light and limber than I ever realised. So I think that bodes really good for tomorrow if I can just get a good 9-hour sleep. Again, I missed the deadline for registering for this thing. It was 9 o'clock last night, and I logged on at like 9:30 because I was on call and had been in seeing emergencies, and thankfully the guys emailed me back today to say I can still compete. But it's that sort of time. I just feel like I'm holding on to these goals really by the claw and fingernail. Worked on the start. Starts are feeling better. It's not the actual block start as such as actually the drive phase. I haven't done much of a drive phase in spikes, and that's been good. So I think that'll be a wee bit better tomorrow. Big question mark over what sort of time it'll be. It'll either be worse or better, or I don't even know. Another really good thing was that there was actually a session on tonight of sprinting. I didn't realise that the club ran a separate sprints group. It was obviously communicated at some point. I've not quite clocked on. I thought it was separate with the university. There's a sprints group that I've been training every Tuesday, and Mike, the coach, came over and we talked shop, and he's like a level 3 UK athletics sprints coach, and I've got several as well. And just that conversation and the starts I was doing was enough just to reawaken in me a desire to sprint fast. And I've already been starting to think, am I going to give up sprinting exclusively? And yes, I mean, we'll see what happens tomorrow, but it just reinforced to me that I've not really been training sprints. I've done a kind of rehabilitation phase for that, but I've not really actually been training much in sprints. So who knows what's going to happen in the next phase. I think I might split it 50-50 between decathlon and sprints if that's not far too much to try and fit in. But yeah, just very conscious that I ran that 7:46 indoors about 5 years ago after a solid winter of sprinting indoors, and with a sprint script that I really enjoyed, and I didn't miss a session, and I've not had that this year, and there's other guys that have been doing that. Obviously I came into that season in much better shape than I did this. So that's where we're at. Catch base. I was just about to say, up in catch base later in the week for 37 weeks to Madiera proper. I'm enjoying this journey. I'm enjoying it, and yeah, it's just really clear to me. I need some quick wins, and that in the psychological side of things, I need some quick wins, and it doesn't have to even be the goals. I need to feel that wind in my sails. I need to have some things to celebrate. So that's very much where I'm at just now. There's just a kind of a longing for where I was in the past, and almost a longing for what I've never had. Just things that people have said or seen other people achieve, and when I was back then, it's still kind of going through my mind. So now's a really, really good time to re-articulate the vision. I'm going to Madiera in 2025 in October to compete in the European Masters, not the World Masters. That would be the following year. And just articulate how that's going to taste. So I'll be feeling warm. I'll be feeling fit. Yeah, just good climate. A sense of anticipation. See what I'm capable of. Seeing what limits I can push, and yeah, just that idea of being in a whole new vista, a whole new plane of doing something I've never done before. That's what that's going to taste like. It will almost be like starting athletics again in some ways. I think that competition, that's what I plan, that's what I envisage. So onwards and upwards.